So yeah, here today on this little forex focus segment, looking at entering FX positions and what to look for, because you guys now very well versed, I'd say, in spot FX markets.
I don't know if I might remove the very and the well.
But still, I think a lot of questions you guys have is just kind of more evaluating, what do I look for when I haven't been looking at this in a week? How do I step in and how do I formulate a possible trade idea? So first, we actually kind of walked through this already, but you'll just look at evaluating the market landscape like we talked about today, where have we been in terms of the economic calendar? We had a soft CPI.
You keep an eye on the
PPI.
economic calendar. Like this is your wheelhouse, is the economic calendar, and that's when can really move is the forex markets.
Yeah, and so here looking at majority U.S. dollar pairs, when we think of spot FX trading, you'll look typically towards those high impact U.S. events, but you also have one of the nice things about spot FX is you are trading this against other currencies, other regions, and so something like
there's always something to do.
There's something like an Australian interest rate decision can happen. That was Tuesday night, overnight. They cut rates, and so it's definitely worth keeping an eye on all of those events as well.
And what happened with the Aussie dollar, U.S. dollar when
on the initial meeting? It depreciated a little, so Australian dollar, US dollar went down, but then it bounced back off of that US CPI reading. So in theory, maybe a central bank meeting is weighted more important than just an inflation reading, but in this case, an already priced in move from the Reserve Bank of Australia against softer CPI inflation data, one prevailed. And then for you guys that are managing a wider portfolio of stocks, options, futures even, you could even look at just a dollar index.
Is it the DXY that you just gave us this chart?
Yeah, just to give you this is,
so
a weighted
tradable,
basket.
Is it?
No, there are ETFs like UUP that you could look at.
Okay, yeah. But that's just to see the chart. That's why you gave us the DXY. Okay.
Right, and so this is something you could pull up, without even getting into your tastyfx platform, just to see, even though this is a weighted basket, just see what the movements looked like, where we are from kind of a more macro lens, and see if this piques your interest into getting into FX markets. So then go into the next slide. We have.
Here you go. This is what you're looking at.
So this is what I'm looking at. We have 6 of the most
and these
popular.
Are your favorites? This is...
Yeah, so this gives you a pretty well-rounded view of the dollar's performance, because you have euro dollar, British pound, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar. So you have Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, which are more commodity currencies historically. You have some risk sentiment gauges with your traditional safe haven currencies of Swiss franc and Japanese yen. And then you have your most traded pair, Euro USD. And so here, what you're looking for is, maybe you were looking at the dollar index already. You have more of a bias either way, long US dollar, dollar bullish, dollar bearish. But here you can look at what individual market looks interesting, especially from a tape action perspective, what charts look interesting, because that's the nice part about getting this granular, is you have different opportunities, like we talked about, a stalling euro dollar market versus a very trending dollar yen market. And here you can definitely see that looking at these hourly charts.
So this is what I want. I want to click on a button, see six of these, take a quick glance, and taking a quick glance at this, like, okay, maybe I'm going to sell the USD Canadian dollar, and then maybe I'm going to buy the Aussie dollar US dollar. Maybe I'm going to throw in a couple of those just from quickly looking at these charts.
Yeah, because we don't know how to analyze it, but looking at the charts, like, maybe it's going to come back.
Yeah, let's just sell us some USD CAD.
Exactly. So that's a good comparison of just visual, which markets are interesting versus layering on that kind of macro perspective. And then in the next slide, we got an additional analysis that you can perform. This is very popular. So you guys looking at option strategies primarily, you're looking at volatility environments, right?
Yeah.
You're looking high vol, you can sell premium, and that's an easy thing to just check. Here in FX markets where everything is directional, something you can look at when you're choosing between, we have 85 FX markets, hard to discern when 20 of them are all US dollar, which one to look for. You can add a bunch of these technical indicators, which are really helpful for FX traders to get a lens on where the momentum is. So it might be easy, like today, where we were looking at that euro dollar market to see that it's kind of stalled, but something like adding some of these technical indicators like this relative strength index can tell you.
Is that the bar on the bottom?
Yep.
That's the relative strength
Yeah,
index
so that can tell you.
Channel?
Exactly. So it has the channel that is more typically in
Jenny
the,
just visually assessed it, saying,
Exactly.
I'm gonna sell the USDC 80.
Yeah, but you can see when it goes outside of these channels, that using this indicator would indicate that something is either overbought or oversold by just averaging, comparing the average gains over a period and their average losses, if there's some momentum there. And so that can help you pick directionally,
Very cool.
okay,
I like it,
this
Glenn.
one's flying.
So how do we get that set up where we have like all 6 charts on our?
Yeah, and then just lastly here, to end these slides, a final trading checklist which is a ton, but important to think through, which is just setting your entry criteria, sizing your position, determining your time horizon, because as we know, that can dictate a lot of what your profit targets could be, what's ridiculous versus what could actually happen. And then checking the calendar again to see if you got in on Tuesday, you're like, okay, September rate cut's completely priced in. We're good for a bearish dollar position, but then didn't see that this PPI number's coming out, that adds some event risk.
Yeah, so the numbers really add event risk onto it.
Yeah.
What I'm realizing is we always say the news is baked in, and we don't really look at a lot
Not
of
with the
numbers.
FX markets.
Not with the FX markets.
Yeah.
Check your calendar. I like point number 5.
And then plan your exits. So that's what I got for you in terms of how to think about FX markets generally, how to identify potential opportunities and potential markets that you're looking into.